That's big business. Hit town, but that's big pimpin'. My potential, that's infinite. Pin game insane. Make hits like King Griffin, a 10th inning.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 49 of the 10th Inning Podcast. We are one away from 50. A little bit of a milestone episode. As always, I'm Sean. He's Dan.
How you doing, guys? I'm going to take my headies off because what I have for you today is 2-0. That's what I have for you today. Something I haven't had for you in 6 years. Okay? So God bless. Were they great wins? No. Should we have won either game? Probably not. But guess what? There's 100 games that we shouldn't have lost in the last 6 years as well. So it's about damn time for our luck to start coming out. Defense, I got to say, shocked that I think it looks pretty good. I think our defenses looks pretty decent.
Yeah.
We're still playing the classic Giants bend don't break ball, but you know what? It's coming with turnovers as well. When you pair bend don't break with turnovers and sacks and pressure, then you have something. You have something to go there. Offensively, it's been a struggle so far for sure, but it's a new offense for Danny. It's like 8th new offense. And Saquon has had one good game and one. Honestly, I think it's a lot of offensive line there because every time Daniel Jones handed the ball off to Saquon in the first half, there were 3 defensive linemen already past the line of scrimmage just waiting to hug Saquon in the back.
Yeah.
But this is not a Giants podcast, but that's what
we are too. Maybe we can make a Giants podcast down the line. Who knows?
We could.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for sure. But let's hop into some league news, Sean. Is there anything? And what's happening in Major League Baseball?
Oh, boy, do we have some league news coming? Obviously, as we've talked about the past 4 weeks, Aaron Judge is chasing Roger Maris's American League home run record at 61. He currently sits at 59. He's 2 away from tying the record. Now, we've discussed about if we think he will break it or if we don't. At this point, I have always said I think he does. And it's looking like there's a good chance he does, but we don't know until it happens. I mean, you never know what's going to happen is what I'm trying to say. But when I thought of this today, there's a bit of a debate going. Shohei Ohtani versus Aaron Judge, MVP. Now, where do you stand on that question?
Well, Sean, I'm going to answer your question, and I'm going to throw out some wild shit that I've been actually waiting for someone to ask me this question so I could throw it out there. Everyone's gonna like it.
You're gonna say neither. You're gonna throw somebody else out there. I just know it.
I might. That's what I do. I run a podcast, John. That's what we do. First off, as a quasi Yankee fan / Yankee hater, it's difficult for me. There is no bias because they honestly cancel each other out. Also, as an Ohtani lover, Sean, I don't understand how this is a question, man. I just don't get the debate. I might be a little old school. I don't think it's the best player award. That's the Hank Aaron award. I think that, best hitter award is Hank Aaron. It's kind of morphed into best player because pitchers can win MVP as well. However, if you're asking me who provides more value to a team, straight up, who's more valuable, I'm saying Ohtani. I think because he adds so much. He is 2 roster spots, 2 All-Stars at the same time. I don't think one player could, even with Judge's season, could feasibly attain that much value. The value he adds to the Angels. However, what Judge has done for the Yankees has been the most valuable, I think, offensive or singular player performance that I could remember in a long, long time. Only rivaled by another one, which I'm going to come up with in a second, which is my real second pick for the MVP. I'll ask you a question, Sean. Angels are in 3rd or 4th place, right? They're 10, 15 games under. There might be 20 games under 500, I believe. 20 games.
They just got mathematically eliminated tonight, I believe, actually.
Where would the Angels be in the standings if they didn't have Ohtani? If you ask me, they'd be in the same place. They couldn't be much more. It wouldn't have changed. Where would the Yankees be if they didn't have Aaron Judge? They're not in the playoffs. I don't care what you say. In that AL East, they are not in the playoffs. So, I mean,
team?
to me, that's your answer. I think Ohtani is more valuable as a singular. I'd pay Ohtani more money per year. That's what you're asking me. But the MVP award is not most valuable to the league. It's most valuable to your team. And there's been no one more valuable to a team than Judge. We've talked about it on this podcast where there's been weeks. The Yankees have scored. The Yankees have been over 500, and only Aaron Judge have scored. You know, that's some crazy shit going on. That is Bucky. Anyway, So you understand where I stand. I think Judge is the clear MVP favorite. The person I think isn't getting enough credit along the same lines is the AL Rookie of the Year in my opinion, and that's Julio Rodriguez. And maybe I'm a baseball fan. I'm getting a little bit sentimental, but we're talking 22-year playoff drought, and there's only been one man that's kind of fixed that whole thing. We thought it was going to be Jared Kelnick. This kid comes up, and it's just an absolute spark plug. I mean, their entire season, their entire outlook has changed because of how he's performed this year. We're talking like almost 20, 25 bags just in the first half alone. It's just coming up, hitting like 275, 280. He's going to be close to a 30-30 guy probably in his second year. First year is going to be 25-25 at least. I mean, there's no one more important to the Mariners than Julio Rodriguez. Defensively, too. I mean, a phenomenal defender. The Mariners don't make the playoffs without Julio, in my opinion. And for me, for the Mariners to make the playoffs, especially with their history, I mean, he's the most valuable Mariner in the last 25 years. So it's a little sentimental, but for me, that means something to get that franchise over the hump, finally back in the postseason contention. I mean, they could win 90 games this year. I don't know. That's just exciting. For me, I think Julio should get some talk about how much value he's really providing to that ball club. Shawnee, are you there?
On my laptop. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what you're saying, but I'm glad you're having a good time. Guys, if all you get from this podcast is Julio Rodriguez should be MVP, then honestly, it's good enough for me. Since I've looked it up, he's got 27 homers, 25 steals. And honestly, I think like the third or fourth.
I said that stuff like 10 minutes ago.
1, 2. He's got the third most WAR in the AL. Or no, maybe not with Dylan Cease. Judge, Ohtani. I'm just ignoring Sean at this point. Alvarez is 3. This is 4. Bogarts is 5. He's got 6. 6 most. Tied for 5th because Cease and Bogarts are tied with Julio. Oh, there you are. You're rubbing your brim. You're back. Scratching your nose.
Literally, I talk and then I'm not even kidding you. 2 minutes later, it goes through to you.
I watched a couple of what they're called is
we're gonna figure this
walk-on scholarship videos today.
Figure this out.
And I was crying my eyes out. I'm talking for 35 minutes straight. I was bawling, crying, just watching walk-on athletes get scholarships. I mean, take a watch of some of those videos, guys. It really just puts in perspective, you know, not just the major league athletes, but all athletes, how much fucking work and dedication it is. It's not easy. It's not easy, you know, when you got school and work and life. I mean, it's just amazing. The kind of dedication some of these people have to their craft, and then to finally get paid off with a scholarship. I mean, it's just beautiful. It really is just beautiful. The other thing I wanted to mention, you know, this is something I actually want to mention later on in the podcast. Sean, are you lit? You can hear me?
I can. I'm trying to do stuff right now, but I can hear you clear as day.
Okay. Well, then I'll keep going. The other thing on my soapbox I wanted to talk about is not only on this podcast, but in everyday life, have I been messing up and giving misinformation on this one player. No one's corrected me, but I always say that Drew Smyly played for the Atlanta Braves, which he did. I believe Drew Smyly did play for the Atlanta Braves. However, I always say that he's the guy that had the season with like the longest losing streak ever. I always get it confused with Drew Smyly. That he had like a 3 ERA, but he lost so many games. Not the case. That's not Drew Smyly, who only pitched in Atlanta 1 year, and it was last year. Unless he also played in 2019 and went back. No. That is Shelby Miller. So Shelby, I'm sorry for constantly giving you credit to Drew Smyly. I don't know how I'm getting that mixed up, but Shelby Miller just watched. I might have been the Jolly Olive, and I was like, God, that was Shelby Miller. I think he went something like, I forget how many losses the guy had, but a lot of losses. I'll look it up right now. Who cares? We're not on any kind of anything. We're just having fun here with technical difficulties. This is like when the power goes out, and you're just like, well, what can we do? We got no technology. Well, you listen to Dan ramble on and try and figure stuff out and make amends for his past transgressions. He went 6-17 with a 3.02 ERA. What I do remember is he was 5-1 at a certain point and lost 16 consecutive games, 16 consecutive decisions over 4 months of baseball, and won his last start of the year, which was a big, just beautiful moment for him. That was his, again, one and only season in Atlanta. I guess that's why I was confused. At least they both had one season in Atlanta. That was in 2015. So congratulations to Shelby Miller for losing 17 games in a season where he had a 3 ERA.
I'll be back. I'm just going to leave from here.
Anything to say to Shelby and his family? Where you go?
Shelby, you were part of that big trade, right? Dansby Swanson trade.
Well, yeah, that was Dansby, and they got someone else big too. I got a second piece. I'll find it. Now we're here, right? This is basically the Shelby Miller episode. I don't even know how I would find that. I'll just Google it, right? That's what people would do. You just Google it. What a fucking idiotic question that is. Oh, how would I find that information out? Like it's so difficult. Shelby Miller trade. Really, it's the Dansby Swanson trade at this point. Having a great year this year. Good couple of years now. Shelby Miller trade. There was a pitcher in there, I think. Ender Inciarte was the other guy who ended up being an all-star for the Braves and a really good defensive center fielder. Big part
on the Mets this year
of some of their postseason runs. Was he Ender? Yeah.
Yeah, he picked him up, put him in AAA, and he played a little.
Good little ball player. Ball player.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I hear you and I see you.
In a time frame.
Seems like I'm just right back and forth with you right now.
Okay, beautiful. Aaron Judge, right?
Yeah, Sean Aaron Judge, baby.
All right. I think Aaron Judge should be the MVP. Simple as that. Yankees would suck without him. Ohtani, great player, but all rise. And this is egg on my face because I told Leif that Judge wasn't that good this year in the offseason. And I
came in saying he was going to have his best year this year. I did say that. I said at least average-wise, at least batting average, and he has.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Who's number two? Julio and Shohei. Real quick before we move on. Julio and Shohei.
Who's number two?
Yeah.
I take Julio. I take Julio.
I'm making moves.
You are. All right. So the next league news. This is going to be a fantastic topic. I don't know why I said that, folks. I'm still like I'm buckled right now from Dan just having
You're excited for our topics today, Sean. The one who's fucking bringing it up. He's like, oh, this will be a good topic. Holy shit!
No. It's a good topic. I'm just your little like therapy session before just threw me off.
You didn't like the scholarships?
No, I loved it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Detroit Tigers today, I think they hired the Giants GM Scott Harris to be the president of
Good.
baseball
Yeah.
operations. I think that's probably a pretty damn good signing for the Tigers because I'm not sure how long he's been there, but if he's been with the Giants since they've rose up from a team that hadn't won a World Series in like 60 years to a team that won 3 in 5 years. I'm not sure how long he's been there. He's only been the GM for a few years because their old GM went to the Dodgers, I believe. Zaidi, I forget his first name.
Farhan Zaidi.
Farhan. So either way, I like the signing or pickup, whatever you want to call it, for the Tigers. They need some sort of direction. They're really just kind of hapless. They signed Eduardo Rodriguez to that big contract. He hasn't pitched much. He's been injured. He left for a little bit this year. I don't even know if he's back yet.
If you asked me, I said Cy Young.
Yeah.
I thought he was winning the Cy Young. He just fucking left. He basically retired right after I gave the Cy Young vote and whatever.
Yeah. And then Baez obviously has not worked out either. So
shocker.
They cleaned house.
Absolute shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think San Francisco is one of those probably top 5, maybe top 7 teams as far as front office, just smart teams. 3 championships in the last decade, obviously, that means a lot. They got a lot of smart people there around the valley. So I think it's probably a good baseball mind to move down to the little Motor City. And I think hopefully this brings them. They got a lot of promise still. They still got Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Casey Mize, Jackson Jobe. They have some positive things to look forward to. But with the right mind in place, hopefully it'll all come to fruition at some point.
Yeah, I don't think I ever said on the podcast, but a Tigers fan from Detroit came into the museum one day, and I said, "Oh, Tigers, good young future." He goes, "No." I go, "Why?" He goes, "All the prospects suck." I was like, "About Torkelson sucks." Yeah, I went down the list, and he said it sucked for everyone. So yeah, they're feeling great in Detroit. The Lions,
as they should.
I mean, talk about football. The Lions won, so they got that. And all right, you still can hear me. You can see me.
That's right.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so Spencer Strider reaches 200 strikeouts in his career, faster than anyone in Major League history. That record was previously held by Randy Johnson and was broken. And frankly, I'm surprised that this hasn't gotten more press. I didn't find this. I literally had to go on MLB.com and scroll down the league news that they had, and it was kind of buried, which I was shocked. Wow. I feel like this is kind of a big accomplishment.
That's pretty fucking huge. I mean,
yeah, you got like Randy Johnson. I'm trying to find some of the other name guys that they had. But either way, there was some big name pitchers on there, and that's a huge accomplishment for a rookie.
I mean, yeah, you'd imagine it would come from a rookie with a stellar season.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. If you would have told me straight up who was it, I wouldn't have said Randy, because I knew early in his career he had a lot of control issues. So I would not that he didn't strike people out, but I didn't think his strikeout rate was as high until he got a little bit more older. I would have said Ohtani or Yu Darvish. I would have said someone who came over just as an ace to begin with. I know Darvish had a great first year. I would have figured and a high strikeout rate guy as well. But wow, I wonder do we have Strider's? I'm gonna look up his whiff rate and strikeout rate. But honestly, that is a crazy big accomplishment. 23 years old, out of Clemson, Sean. Out of Clemson. His whiff percentage is 94th percentile. Strikeout rate is 99th percentile. So that'll just give you a little bit of an idea. 38.3 K percentage, Sean. That is, it's 99th. It's probably elite of the elite. I want to say maybe Degrom is the only one with a higher strikeout rate then. Right?
Yeah.
Wow. Among starting pitchers. I'll look that up while you go into your next thing. Before you go into your next thing, to backtrack, Sean, because you said Lions and it just really hit my heart. This Amon-Ra St. Brown character, he's got to be stopped. Okay, I was not high on him coming into the season. He was like a sleeper pick. I'm like, I don't see it with Mr. St. Brown over here, and he's ruined a couple weeks for me. That's all I'm gonna say about Amon-Ra. I mean, hell of a name, hell of a fucking name. Congratulations. I
And
thought it was
lastly-
all like hype from Hard Knocks, but apparently he can play the sport.
He can play the sport. That is very true. Very true. All right. The next topic I'll get into, Framber Valdez, his 25th straight quality start. That's also an MLB record. I don't know who had the record prior. Yeah, I don't know who had the record prior, but again, not getting a lot of press. I don't know. Like, Verlander people drool over Verlander, rightfully so. But Valdez ain't too shabby himself. I don't know why this hasn't been talked about, but it's damn well impressive.
That is quite literally probably the biggest record to have for a pitcher. Like, I don't know, how is that not like a huge, like, quality starts all you could, excuse the burp, really ask for. Frankly, Framber Valdez is also my pitcher of the week this week, so thank you for a little bit of good foreshadowing for me. I hope he's yours as well. We ruined it for each other.
Absolutely.
But I mean, quality starts, all you're looking to do is give your team a chance to win. The strikeouts are nice, and I think that's a real telltale sign of a dominant pitcher. But at the end of the day, what you want to do is give your team a chance to win. And in this day and age, to go that means he went 6 innings in 25 consecutive starts. That's the biggest thing. What it says to me. Even elite pitchers don't do that. They have every so often they have a game that falter, don't get through a full 6. Wow, that's phenomenal.
So what this is single season. So there has been 2 other cases where it's been longer over the course of multiple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But the record was previously held by Jacob Degrom in 2018, which is not a shocker.
Right.
Who did 24 quality starts? Frankly, I don't know how that's only 24. I thought it would have been higher from him. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Congratulations to Framber. I'll be talking about him later. Probably not in that nice of a light, to be honest with you.
Well, we had to even it out,
You have to.
All right. Just another quick little thing. Carlos Beltran has kind of been shunned out of baseball a little bit since the Astros scandal. Was hired to be the manager of the Mets. The Mets fired him. He's done some work with the Yankees on Yes. Apparently, there's rumors that he's going to come back to the Mets in some sort of capacity, whether it be in the front office or dugout as a coach. I thought that was kind of an interesting thing because you saw Alex Cora come back after just 1 year suspension. AJ Hinch was destroyed after a year suspension. And Beltran was a player at the time, and he didn't really play that much, so I don't know why he necessarily got punished more than players on the Astros did. But I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing for him to have to get banished and then come back in slowly if he does, in fact, come back with the Mets.
Yeah, when you said that originally, I thought you meant Sean as the player, and I was going to be like, wow, the Mets really, they do what they do, Yeah, I don't know how to feel about Carlos. Played for the Yankees. I think during his tenure with the Yankees, he cut them all off. I didn't know how to feel about it. It seemed like he was really changing a lot of his personality. Seemed like a weird move. I don't think that would have worked in 2022. Everyone's about bracing your body and bracing your differences. All of a sudden, he goes off and cuts his mole off.
Yeah,
that's
I know Mole very well. I won't see many.
I'm not huge on Carlos.
Well, the Mets want to bring him back, so they have someone who can bat in Game 7, the NLCS, against the Cardinals when Adam Wainwright's pitching. They just got to exercise some demons.
And God bless to him. I wish the best for him, as I wish the best for everybody, Sean, because that's the kind of guy that I am.
Yeah. That was just a quick little thing I wanted to bring about. I have one more real storyline and one kind of funny one.
Okay.
Next one, Ozzy Albies came back from was a fractured foot and then proceeded to fracture his pinky.
I'm sorry. I wish the best for him. As you know, I wish the best for him. But when when you traded him for who I think is second in AL MVP this offseason, it's kind of like, fuck you, Zeke. Zeke ended up winning the championship. He did. Spoiler alert. Zeke won the Fantrax championship. But I traded Ozzie Albies for Julio Rodriguez this offseason. I also got Logan Webb in the deal. So it's kind of like.
Could you imagine if he had Julio Rodriguez? He would have won the league by so much more than he did.
I know. That was a good trade for me.
Yeah. So that's a tough break for him. He should be back by the postseason, I said, and it's a pinky, so it could be worse. He just obviously took him a while to come back from the fractured foot. Hell of a player. I mean, scary that the Braves are doing this well without him. So we'll see how it goes from here. Now, you ready for kind of a comical little story I found scrolling the Webernet?
I'm always ready for comedy.
So here's the headline. MLB now owns Twins.com after twin brothers held onto URL for decades. The Twins, the Major League Baseball did not own the Twins website.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So the Twins are probably making some decent money off of that.
Yeah. So what happened was they made the website back in the 90s before Major League Baseball teams had websites, and they were selling. They were doing some sort of service. They actually were selling stuff online. They didn't just buy it to then make money off it. They actually used it. And I think in 1995, they made the website, and they, for some reason, somehow, they held on to those two twins held on to the website until recently. They got an undisclosed amount of money, or I guess disclosed amount of money, from Major League Baseball. And it's kind of a funny little thing. And actually, there are multiple teams that Major League Baseball does not own the rights to. Where the hell did it go? They don't own the the San Francisco Giants, because Giants.com is the New York Giants website.
That's fair.
Rays.com goes to a Seattle restaurant, and the Guardians.com is currently up for sale. The Guardians aren't even bothering buying it. So.
That's pretty. That's sad. Sean, honestly, that's just fucking sad.
Yeah.
God bless Cleveland. I mean, they won't even pay for their own goddamn website. I mean, they won't even pay for their own domain name. If that doesn't say everything there is to say about Cleveland, Sean, there you go. There you have to go.
And their football team, the Browns, blew a 2-touchdown lead in 2 minutes to the Jets yesterday. So Cleveland just stays winning.
Guys, I've been researching this since I said I would start. I can't express to you how difficult it is to find K percentage, especially with qualifiers, because Strider, I'm gonna throw up, but somehow doesn't qualify with the innings pitched he has. But he is in fact second to Degrom. The only one higher strikeout percentage than him is Degrom, Edwin Diaz, Devin Williams, Andres Munoz, Ryan Helsley, and then it's Spencer Strider. So a bunch of relievers in Degrom. So that is pretty interesting stuff. Degrom's is 44%, which is that's illegal. I don't even think that's legal. Again, Degrom's has such a smaller sample size. Do you have any guess who the next starting pitcher is on this list, Sean? Because you're wrong. Whatever you think it is, you're wrong.
K-rate. Scherzer up there.
The next highest one is Andrew Heaney from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Another
Yankee
small sample size.
Yankee legend.
Yeah. The next real starting pitcher is Carlos Rodon, followed by Christian Javier and Shohei Ohtani. Not that anyone really wants to know at this point, Sean, but I'm just letting them know, because I didn't do all this for nothing.
Absolutely. Speaking of strikeouts, we're going to talk about the picks to click from last week. And Degrom was one of those questions with the strikeouts.
Oh, that's right.
So, shall we? All right. So, okay, where'd it go? The first question we had: Freddie Freeman is currently leading the league with a .331 batting average. Does he finish the week with an average at or above .334? Well, His batting average is still 331. It didn't budge at all. So Zeke and I said, yes, it would be higher. Dan said no. That's a point for Dan. For those of you keeping track at home.
Bet against your team, folks.
Next, the Cleveland Guardians are 2.5 games up in the division. Do they finally pull away and get their lead to 4 games? We all said no. Of course, they are currently 4 games ahead. No points awarded there. We try.
I love Cleveland. I love the whole fucking city.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Pieces of shit.
Next one is how many home runs has Albert Pujols finished with at the week's end? He at the time had 697. He hit 1 this week. He's at 698. Dan and Zeke both get points there. I do not. I said 2. So what are we currently tied now? 2-2.
Yeah.
2-2. All right. Next one we have is, do the Dodgers eclipse 100 wins this week? Dan, you and I both said yes. Zeke said no. The answer is yes. They have 101 wins, so it's a wash on that one. And how many innings does Jacob Degrom go this week against the Cubs? How many runs does he allow, and how many strikeouts does he have? Well, Degrom went 5 innings pitched, 3 runs, 13 Ks. Oh, wait. I looked at the wrong start. I looked at his start against the Pirates from yesterday. O'Neal Cruz hit a home run. Please bear with me.
Cheater.
Please bear with me. I don't think Degrom did all that well in his start against the Cubs because the Mets lost that game, but he should have done better. So he had 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 10 strikeouts. So what did we say? Okay. You said 7 innings, 1 run, 10 strikeouts. Zeke said 7 2/3, no runs, 11 strikeouts. I said 8 innings, no runs, 12 strikeouts. So let's see who got a point here. You said 7 innings. He went 5, so no one got a point there. Strikeouts. He had 10. Or how many? Hold on. He had 10, which is a point for Dan. I'm screwed. What else did I say? How many runs does he allow? We all got that wrong. So, Dan, you got a point there. You got 3 points on the day. You just took the lead.
Called comeback, folks. That's what it's called. It's called a 3-0 sweep when you have him do the questions. How'd it feel, Sean? I will add something that doesn't matter too much. We both picked Zeke for our person to win, so we both got a point there. Sean, so you did get a point this week. 4-1. But let me update the standings now. It is 29-28, Sean. Listen, you're back in the spot you feel most comfortable, and I hope you stay there the rest of the year. Take it easy. Be comfortable. You know, how does it feel to be back behind?
You know, in a strange way, it feels good. You know, it's only 1 point. I have a big week. I'm back in the lead. You know, we're just regrouping.
I hear you. Regroup. I got some good questions for you today, so hopefully you'll be able to regroup with them. Would you like me to move on to everyone's favorite segment of the week?
Absolutely.
And that would be, of course, King's Stat for the week, my stats. Sean, you're going to be happy to hear this. No rainouts this week. It's a shocker. So let's fast forward to Tuesday, right? I'm getting the start at second base on Tuesday. As we know, going into it, I had a hit in the game on last Tuesday or 2 Tuesdays ago because it was rained out. So 1 hit deep. We go for 5-5 the next game. We're sitting at a 6-hit streak, right? We're starting to get hot. 0 for 6, 6 for 6. Storyline picks up. Single. Okay? Nice little single the other way. 7 for 7. Dugouts cheering. Everyone understands the streak now. Next at bat, single. 8 for 8. I get the first. They go 8 for 8. Sean, it was like I was in Cooperstown in the backyard. I wanted to say 8 for 8. 8 for 8. Go, Danny. Go, Danny. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to. I wanted to let them know, but I didn't. They didn't really know about it. Also, I'm on first base, right? 2 for 2. There's a ball hit into like center field, but shaded to the right field. But it looks like it's going to go over his head. I'm aggressive on it. 1 out. I'm not tagging from first, but there's a guy on second as well. I'm aggressive with my secondary. I'm probably 3/4. I feel like this ball's dropping. And again, I'm not tagging, and I know I can get back. He's tagging if it's caught. So I'm all the way caught up to this guy. Ball drops, and I almost fucking passed this guy going home. I'm on my fucking motor, Sean, getting going down the line. Anyway, I forget how that game ended. How did that go? Oh, how could I forget how that game ended? I'm playing second base the whole game anyway. Next at bat, we get a walk. On base streak continues. Last at bat, we're up by 10 in the sixth. Okay. Bottom of the sixth, we gave up 6 runs. So whittled down to 4, Sean. Going into the top of the seventh, I come up, runner on second, 2 outs. The big hit would bring it to 5. In softball, that's pretty good. It's a high-scoring game. I fly out to right field. So not the greatest feeling. Streak ends. Unfortunately, I wasn't going to get hit every at bat the rest of the season. But we feel okay. We got a 4-run lead. We've been controlling the whole game. I pop out to second base. I get a couple warm-ups in. All of a sudden, where the hell is Paul? Paul's not on the mound, Sean. Paul's on the phone somewhere in the woods. Andy goes from right field, "Hey, Dan, you're going to have to pitch." Where have we heard this before? Earlier in the season. I am not a reliever. I'm just not like this guy you pull off in an emergency situation. What happened last time? I get the big strikeout, right, with 2 outs to end the inning, and then I come out and shit the bed and implode. Okay, because it's just not my thing. So I go, I run, I get my mask on, flustered. I've been playing second base for 6 innings here, Strong. I go, I'm trying to take a warm up. He's like, "We don't got time for warm ups. We're almost at time limit. We got another game coming on." Goes, "No warm ups. Just gonna have to go in." I'm like, I mean, you know me, Sean. I'm an ace. I'm like, we got the bands on the legs. We got the towel wrapped up the arm. I'm a mental player. I gotta have the AirPods in for. I'm not some guy that gets rushed onto the scene. No warmies. Up just 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th. I'm not Emma Diaz. That's not who I am. I wish I was. So first batter I walk, but I didn't have control yet. I hadn't even had a practice pitch. I don't even blame myself. They start fucking going on a tear. I ended up walking another guy in the inning. Ended up 2 walks in the inning. It's first and third. They've already tied the game. It's 2 outs. Fly ball in between right field and center field. The ball drops in. There was a dive on the play. They dove in and out of the glove. Certainly not the fielder's fault. What a great effort. But this close to catching it, which would have at least sent it to extras or had a tie. But that's it. I basically played a really great 6 innings of softball to get thrown on in the last 10 minutes to get the loss on my. All I did was come in and just take the loss. We were winning the entire game until I stepped on the mound. I went home. I went home in tears, Sean. I felt like it was a setup. It felt like a fucking setup. I mean, they were probably going to win that game no matter who was on the mound. They were like, there was so much momentum. But like, that's why am I getting this shit end of the stick? Paul doesn't even get the loss. When he left, they were up. Yeah, well, he didn't blow a fucking 10-run lead last inning, Paul. I mean, why was he in the woods? He said, one of my employees, they called me. Sean, he didn't want the loss. Paul's a little bitch. That's what I'm telling you here right now on the podcast. Paul's a little fucking bitch.
Friend of the pod, Paul.
I love Paul. Paul's a great
We should
guy.
get Paul on the pod. We should get him on here.
We shouldn't have him watch this one. That's what we shouldn't have. Anyway, Thursday, and I'm dejected. I'm thinking I might not even get my Thursday start now. They might take it away from me, given to what happened. This happened twice now. But I get the Thursday start. I go out there. I ended up going 1 for 2. Only had 2 at bats. So 3 for 4 on the week. And phenomenal job pitching. I was really happy with it. I had control the whole time. I only walked, I believe I walked, let me see, I'll check the stats. I walked 2 people through 6 innings. I'm sorry, through 5 innings. 2 people through 5 innings, which isn't great, but the walks were like purposeful. Like they were 2 power hitters that was pitching only inside to it, and I wasn't giving in. Got a lot of weak contact. They ended up mercying us, but we had, I mean, just a defensive collapse. The defense was awful. Really, there wasn't a lot of hard hit balls. It was just really, really poor defense, unfortunately. And they were a travel team, the best team in the league. They won the championship the last 3 years. So they had, I think, 6 homers. They did have 6 home runs. I'm not saying not a lot of hard hit balls, but other than like the balls that they squared up for home runs, there was just so many dinks and dunks that fell in. Which I will say, tournament style teams know how to do that. Ball placement is really big in softball, especially when you have home run limits. But there was definitely a lot of errors. But I felt in control. I was happy about my performance overall. No strikeouts, but 3 for 4 to play with a walk, Sean. A couple of RBIs and big moments, and a decent performance on the mound. Anything you want to say to me?
That game Tuesday shows you how life, the highs from the highs, the lows to the lows. Don't let Paul, go into the woods to take a phone call, get you down. You didn't have the proper warm up. Pitchers are creatures of habit, and don't let that fall on your shoulders. Everybody on the team knows it's not your fault. As far as Thursday goes, I'm glad that you felt, good. I mean, honestly, the competition was great, so you can accept the loss. But keep your head high. 8 for 8. Oh yeah, go Danny is nothing to hold your head at or hang your head at. And we all know Randy Choate was not present. You did not choke at all.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be batting 6th, playing second base on Tuesday. I didn't think I was going to get a start this week because, again, we moved to the 3-man rotation. It seems as though I might have bumped Mike out of the rotation, and I might be now the official 2-starter. So moving up again, Paul is getting the start on Tuesday. If you ask me, I don't think he should be fucking trusted. But I'll be getting the Thursday start, batting 8th on Thursday on the mound, on the bump, which is the day that Zeke is coming into North Carolina. The only other thing I'll say, Sean, is, you're right, and I got to say my teammates picked me up so well. I came in off the mound after Tuesday, and I know this is so ungodly long for this section of the podcast that means nothing, but I came in off the mound on Tuesday, and I was staring off into the fucking distance, Sean. I was just almost in tears in the dugout. And my friend Dylan, 2-hitter on the team, lefty, slap hitter, beautiful. First baseman, does the splits like you've never seen. He's made some picks unbelievable. He looks at me, he goes, "Hey Dan, you know what's really really inconvenient, really just not the greatest thing?" And I thought he was gonna fucking come at me immediately, like blowing a 4-run lead, coming in the 7th inning. And I was like, "What, Dylan?" He's like, "Being asked to come in the bottom of the 7th inning with just a 4-run lead when you've been not ready to pitch all day with no warm-ups. That's pretty inconvenient." And I said, I just turned around, I dapped him up, and I said, "I appreciate it, man." And I walked out, and my best friend of the team, Elio, El Salvador, just came here a couple of years ago. He saw me dejected. He goes, "Dan, this is a hell of a team, by the way. I mean, this is some characters." He goes, "Dan, don't worry about it. You do good pitch today, good pitch." He was catching for me during this last inning, and I said, "Elio, no good pitch." I said, "No good pitch." That's what I said. I even gave him a little accent. I shouldn't have, but I did. And he said, "No, good pitch." And I said, "Hey, good pitch. If he thinks it's good pitch, Sean, then what do I care? You know what I mean?"
That's hilarious.
Moving on. We can move on for sure.
This podcast is gonna be 3 hours long.
That's what the fans want.
We thought the positional rankings was long.
They've been clamoring for longer episodes, Sean. The hitter highlight this week. Do you want you give your hitter highlight first? Because I'm sick of right now. No good pitch. It was not a good pitch. I gotta tell you. I'm sorry. That was really it's the second time it's happened.
Can I ask a question? How did you find this team?
I mean, when I moved down here, it's just gonna get into a soap opera. When I moved down here, it was COVID. I didn't know anybody, and I just wanted to play softball. So, finally last year, I reached out to it's called just Chapel Hill or Durham County softball, especially like the town's rec league. Like Durham County has their rec leagues, and they have what's called like free agent lists. And if there's a bunch of guys who don't have a full team or a full bunch of guys that can form to play, they go on a free agent list, and someone ends up being the manager of it, and they reach out and they just form a team of ragtag guys. All the guys on my team are guys that didn't have 10 guys that they wanted to play with, and just a bunch of ragtag fellas. But I love every guy on it. Everyone is so nice. It's such a good environment, I gotta say. Shout out the hot dogs.
Except Paul.
Yeah, I love Paul. I do. He on Thursday he came up. He's like ready to pitch. I wanted to smack him because I thought it was some kind of fucking smart comment. Are you ready to pitch? Holy shit! I hope you're ready to pitch in the 7th inning tonight when I fake a hammy. God damn it, Paul. No, but I said yeah. He said I'm sorry about the other night. I had a phone call and whatever, and I was like, don't worry about it, man. It's not your fault. I did look at him. I said, I know you just wanted to get off the line for the get off the hook for the loss. I know that's what you were doing. And he just laughed and kept walking. And I was like, yeah, I got you, Paul. Good guy. Great guy, though. Good guy.
All right, so my hitter highlight of the week is none other than the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Andrews. Now, that is a name right there. Yeah. Another top prospect that didn't really pan out. Not like Jerks and Profar. But Elvis Andrews had himself a nice career, but I feel like he was always expected to be a little bit better than what he was. But nonetheless, Elvis Andrews this week, he had a nice 385 average, not too shabby. And it's no 8 for 8. No 8 for 8. Oh yeah, go Elvie. But it's still not bad. He and grand total this week, I can't speak right now, I apologize. Had 26 at-bats, 10 hits, 1 double, 2 walks, and only 3 strikeouts. That's not too shabby. Not too shabby. Frankly, he also had 4 stolen bases, which is probably one of the best non-hitting stats I've seen, if that makes any sense. It's been a long episode, folks. If I don't make a lot of sense, just bear with me. Yeah, frankly, I didn't know he was on the White Sox. I got to be honest with you. I had no idea he was on the White Sox. I thought when I think of him, I think of Texas Rangers. When I think of shortstops with the White Sox, I think of Alexei. Absolutely, on SportsCenter back in the day. But Elvis Andrews, he's props to him on a good week. I'm just going to stop it there before I just keep fumbling over my words.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm going to come at you. I'm going to come at you hard right now. Talk about Elvis. Did he pan out as an all-star type player? Probably not. No, I bet you had a couple all-stars though, right? Maybe 2.
I'm about to look it up. Yeah.
He was the rookie of the Rangers rookie of the year. What the fuck? How many rookies did the Rangers have in 2009? What a fucking retarded award. I'm sorry, I gotta cut that out. That's not a nice thing to say. Honestly, I'm not gonna cut it out. Anyone offended, I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, I guess the Yankees when they had Glaber and Gary and Judge kind of. But Rangers rookie of the year. I'm gonna slap someone in the face if they gave me that. What the hell does that mean? Did he have that bad of a year in 2009? No, it wasn't great.
He was a 2-time All-Star. 2-time All-Star.
Thank you. My point being, he'll probably end up being a 2,000 hits for his career. He's at 1985.
Honestly, can I interrupt you for a second? I'm gonna have Stephen A. Mullen put the camera on me. Mm-hmm. Elvis, I'm very sorry. You've had a very nice career. 2-time All-Star. I'll run through the stats right now. Career batting average 271. That's only gone down because he's had a couple rough years recently. Let's throw it back to 2017. The man had 88 RBIs, 20 home runs. Mm-hmm. Now, I guess that was a juice ball era. But still, the guy, 88 RBIs, stolen bases. 42 in 2013. Mm-hmm. Guy steals a lot of bases. And you know what? He doesn't strike out much. Struck out more than 100 times once, and it was 101 strikeouts.
That was his power output season, yeah.
Yeah. So Elvis, I am very sorry. Please forgive me. And frankly, like Dan said, you're probably gonna have 2,000 career hits, and he's only 33 years old. My God, he came up young. He must have when he came up, he must have been a stud. Like he must have been like not a Julio Rodriguez type because he's not those numbers, but in that era at least.
Right. We're talking
so
9 seasons with like 25 plus bags.
Yeah.
Which is a feat in its own right. I mean, but yeah, just listen. He had 20 homers once, and his next highest total was this year at 14. So definitely not, a power hitter. But he did what he did. I mean, he was just a good little. He was a major league ball player. He was a good, slightly above average major league ball player for probably going to end up being 15 years, right? How many years has he played already?
He's played 14.
Yeah, I mean,
he's only 33. He'll bounce around a bit.
Yeah, I mean that's clap it up for Elvis Andrews. Really, really prominent figure in the 2010s for sure. Anyway, moving on, Sean. Willie Adames is my hitter to watch. Not hitter to watch. I'm talking about hitter highlight. I'm sorry, I'm just going. It's been long. First thing I got to say about Willie, Coach told me to say this to you guys. He thinks he's absolutely adorable. And honestly, I think he rated pretty highly in our shortstop attractive rankings that we had over this season. So shout out to Coach for that.
That's right.
So this isn't a week, but in the 9 days since September 10th, otherwise known as since September 10th, 11 for 25, 8 runs, 3 doubles, 4 homers, 13 ribeye steaks. He really struggled to start the year, Shawnee, but he's hitting 299 in September, bringing that average up. He's hitting 239 on the year, 239 with a 304 on base. But he has a 271 BABIP. His career BABIP is 324, so you think maybe it could be a little bit lower. His expected batting average is 241, though, so it seems like it is online. His BABIP just might be dropping a little bit this year, but it might not be luck-based. However, I'm going to take a pause on the rest of what I have to say for 2 reasons. One, I need to burp. The second reason, and more importantly, is it would have been nice if it was just 2 burps, but I wanted to do some research on some of the players that I usually haven't because I hate who likes them. Willie Adames, I've written him off because Coach loves him, and for me, it puts like a bad taste. Looks like the Jeter thing, puts a bad taste in my mouth. My pitcher highlight is the same way with Framber. I've never really looked into him. I love young, good starting pitching, and I never even thought he was decent because of Zeke likes him, so I got to imagine he's terrible. But this week I said, you know what, we're going to actually do research on these guys because they deserve a chance, especially now that I'm a GM. I need to be more objective about my research and valuations on players. So a part of these valuations is going to be whether I change my mind on the player or not. Moving on, his strikeout and walk ratio has stayed pretty much the same as his career norms this year, but his expected slugging has gone from 57th percentile to 86th percentile this season, and it's resulted in a 30-homer season already. So congratulations to Willie for that. Also, something we've seen a lot over the last couple episodes, he was 4th in outs above average, 4th percentile, which is very, very bad. 4th percentile out of 100. In OOA last year, 95th percentile in OOA this year. Been a really good defender out there short. So another interesting thing, we've seen that with Bogarts, Devers, a couple different players we've seen on the infield have such a big shift in production defensively from year to year. I don't know why, but that is the case. Anyway, taking a look at his expected stats, his slugging definitely went up. I think he could be a 30-homer type guy, but he's like a 240 hitter, and he's going to have like a close to a 300 even on base. So my verdict is he is very attractive, but I just don't like him. I don't like those kind of players, The 300, I'm a big on-base guy, and I was hoping to see him be more like a 260, 330 hitter, and he's more so 240, 300. Again, I really didn't know much about Willie Adames. I simply wrote him off because Leif liked him. Even as a big baseball fan, you'd think I know everything about every player, but I'm not a huge Willie guy. Long term, how do you feel about Willie?
I'm not a huge fan of him. I don't dislike him.
Mhm.
I don't know that much about him because he was with Tampa for a
Yeah.
while. He had a really good year last year. He hasn't duplicated that this year.
Hmm.
He hasn't been the spark plug they have needed. He's a solid player. It doesn't really move the needle
Yeah.
too much for me. Now to speak on the attractiveness of the shortstops, I know someone who might be able to help us out with this. We'll work on it maybe down the line, but I think this offseason maybe we do each position. We rank the top 10, our top 10s based off of looks, attractiveness. We
Are you
calling
saying
an
this?
outside.
Okay, I love to hear that. I'll be ready and waiting for that day.
Okay.
Pitcher highlight, Sean. Who do you have this week?
Now, I got to be honest with you. I didn't pick one yet. I have the whole list in front of me of the best starters from the week, and I was kind of gonna kind of go eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Okay.
Um,
Any Tigers
so
caught?
there are no Tigers on the list, which is not surprising.
Mm,
But I want to just give a shout out to Emmanuel Clase. The man has had
it's my guy.
an absolute year. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this week he only 4 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, 3 saves, no earned runs. You can't ask for much better than that from a closer.
No.
I think him and Edwin Diaz are the two best guys in the game right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever picked a relief pitcher, maybe once or twice before, to be my pitcher of the week. And like I said, I was just kind of looking through the list and I couldn't really decide. So yeah, his name just kind of caught my eyes. Has a great name, Clase,
Yeah.
not Clase. His name was Clase. Gotta love it. He's really good, doing really well. And I can't wait for when the Guardians trade him to a big market team in the next offseason or two.
Yeah. I mean, he's a red hot, baby. That's all I'm going to say. He'll be a red hot for a long time now. He's definitely my reliever of the future. One of the big reasons I was comfortable moving Devin Williams this offseason was had an amazing season in his own right this year. But I am going to, yes, I did trade him to you. I am going to put in a honey lemon cough drop in because that's how much I've been talking. I am already losing my voice on this. This has never happened. Uh,
It was your therapy session.
I think it was my stats for the week. I got really animated. Sorry if I was yelling. This is medicated. I don't know how good this is. Pitcher highlight is Framber Valdez. Again, Zeke thinks he's adorable. So I've kind of just wrote him off. This week, 13 innings pitched, 2-0. Had a complete game shutout versus Detroit. He also faced Oakland, so it wasn't the stiffest of competitions, we'll say. 10 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks. I have written 2 strikeouts, Sean. There's no way he had 2 strikeouts this week. I'm sorry. Sean's gonna look up how many strikeouts. No, I'll look it up. I'll look up how many fucking strikeouts.
I can look it up.
I appreciate it. His ERA this season is 2.57, but his expected is 3.28, Sean. You know how I feel about that. So I do think there's some regression in line for Mr. Framber. And as I said before, that's not a negative thing. Like his expected ERA is 3.28. That's still a phenomenal pitcher. And anyone who has 25 consecutive quality starts, it's like that's not even like people like Degrom and Kershaw and Verlander, the greatest pitchers, of our generation. It's not likely. Like it's just baseball. Shit happens. So there is some luck to being good for that long, although there is a lot of skill with it. Moving on to some of his peripherals, why I think I don't. Again, I think the verdict's going to be.
Can I interject?
Yeah, please do.
15 strikeouts.
Thank you. It's going to be another verdict that I still don't like him that much. Really poor extension. Sean, you know what extension is, I'm sure, as a former pitcher as well from the Olo Tigers. That is, of course, how much your leg is going towards the plate, to put it as simply as possible, and that aids in perceived velocity and such. Again, I am sorry for the burp. I don't know what it is. I think the way I talk, Sean, I take in a lot of air. And I think the more I talk, the more I burp. You're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
13th percentile in that, 17th percentile in average exit velocity. That's not great. That's the average rate of the exit velocity that people are hitting the ball off of him, and 23rd in hard hit rate. So people are hitting the ball hard off of him. The one positive thing is he did add a cutter midway through the season to replace his four seam, where he's throwing that cutter at 10%, and it has slowly became his best pitch. Hitters hitting .083 off of it. So looking forward to next year, I'm interested to see. I would not be shocked if he made that cutter a 25% mix. And if he did that, I think that would change how I feel about him a little bit more even. I love his curveball. I think his curveball is phenomenal. I think if he went to like just a straight curveball, cutter, and change up guy, he's already basically eliminated the four seam fastball. He was throwing it a lot this season, close to 23%, moved to the cutter, but only 10%, and increased in turn the rate of his sinker, which I don't really like his sinker. I think his cutter should be his sinker, throwing the sinker 48%. If he could flip those, I think he'd have a lot more success because his sinker, which is his main pitch, is his worst pitch. So if he could go more off the curveball and the cutter, I think he could be the 2.57 for real instead of the 3.28 for real, in my opinion. But he's had a good little career so far. I'm just not on him as of yet. That's how I feel about Framba. Any thoughts?
I really don't have much to add, to be honest with you.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, I think it's just because we've been on for so long that I'm just like running out of words.
No, I hear you. I have a minor league highlight, but guys, I am actually going to save the minor league highlight for next week. That's right. I'm going to save myself some research for next week, and I'm going to save my throat a little bit. I'm already sucking on a medicated lozenge. And I'm going to save your ears a little bit of safety as well. We're going to move on to our picks to click, Sean, unless you got something else you wanna bring up.
Nope.
But a little peek into it. We'll be talking about Jackson Terio, another guy I was not too familiar with in the Brewers organization, who was climbed, Sean, from not on the prospect list to almost a top 10 prospect now. So 18 years old still. So look forward to that in the next episode. We'll go into it a little bit deeper dive on him. Hot take this week, Sean. UNC's playing Notre Dame. The game is sold out. Will be displayed on NBC, I believe, or ABC. It's on a major network. Everyone should be able to get it. Take a look for me and Zeke in the stands, naked, or at least shirtless if we can be. I'll try and have my little Tar Heel football badge on, swinging it around my neck or something. Hot take is that UNC beats Notre Dame, but the game's going to go to overtime. It's going to be an overtime classic. I'm sure lightning will strike on me and Zeke. It's going to rain. I mean, Sean, if you know anything about us going to a game, it will be pouring raining.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Who do you have winning that game?
Now, is either team ranked? I know Notre Dame was, but are they still ranked?
Notre Dame was ranked like 6th coming into the year. They are, by all accounts. You could ask Zeke, and Zeke would not say this if he didn't mean it. They are hot garbage. They are fucking hot garbage. They lost to Marshall. Okay.
Yep.
They just won their first game last week. They're now 1-2. UNC is 3-0. We are not ranked. We're probably 35th or probably 30th. We're like 5 away from being ranked in the top 25. We have some points, but we're not ranked yet. We haven't had too stiff of competition. We also gave up 40 points in the fourth quarter to App State. In the fourth quarter, we give up 40 points alone.
Yeah, but App State beat Texas A&M.
App State's a good team. At the time, it looked like a much worse performance. App State's a very good team. I think if UNC had a 25th rank right now, it wouldn't be crazy. Our defense is terrible, but I do like our offense a lot. Drake May, Sean, our quarterback, man, I love that. A lot more than Sam Howell. People said Heisman for Sam Howell. Drake May can make every throw. I like that. You're not gonna like this because you don't like a lot of people don't like Daniel Jones, but he reminds me of Daniel Jones. He's athletic. He gets out of the pocket. He can run. He runs for the first down on third down, and he just puts the ball exactly where it needs to be. He finds really tight holes, and he can make most of the throws on the field. He looks like an NFL quarterback to me. That's all I got to say.
All right, I think North Carolina wins.
That'll be big. I can't wait for Zeke to watch Notre Dame lose to UNC in football. That's a goddamn shame. Anyway, you have a hot take, Sean? Other than that, not really.
No, I do want to say the Mets just clinched the playoff berth.
I mean, that's a hot take.
They did.
It's a hot take in itself. What picks to click, Sean? Does this New York thumper, Aaron Judge, get to 62 this week? He sits at 59.
62.
Does he get 3 homers?
Yeah.
This week he does.
He's in Fuego right now.
I know.
Again, yesterday or tonight or
yesterday. I'm gonna say no just to take the opposite, but I do agree with you. Okay. Patrick Corbin should be lining up for 2 starts this week. He starts tomorrow and probably Sunday. If not, this will go into next week. So it's for his next 2 starts. He currently sits at 18 losses on the year. 18 of them. Does Patrick Corbin become a 20-game loser? We talk a lot about 20-game winners, how much it means. I think it's more impressive to lose 20 games. I mean,
in the end of the week or the end of the season?
Within his next 2 starts, he'd have to lose both games.
I think he loses one of the 2. I don't think he loses both.
I'm out on a limb, Sean. I think he's a 20-game loser by the end of the week.
When was the last time there was a 20-game loser in baseball?
I was going to research it, and then I got lazy. Because he could be the first 20-game loser. I don't know, but I'm sure he's not.
Yeah, I'm sure those guys out there.
Oh, especially like early on, there's like 30-game losers. But I mean, in the modern era, I'm sure he's not either. But 20 games, that's still a big accomplishment, regardless of if it's been done before.
Huge.
But Sean, you're rooting against him or for him? I don't know. And the last one here, Sean, number 3. Your New York Mets and the Braves are currently locked into the tightest division race in baseball. It was 1 game at the time of this making of the question.
It is now, yeah.
Good. Who will have the division lead after this week? The Mets play the Brewers and the A's, and the Braves play the Nats and the Phillies. Both play a shit team and a good team, or a mid team. Phillies and Brewers are pretty even, and so are the A's and Nats. So it's pretty even matchups.
I'm gonna say the Mets. I hope I'm right. I really do.
Well, I just stole a point. Let me tell you. I'm obviously picking the Bravos. That's so bad. That's such a sad franchise. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's move on to our last segment, Sean. All right. First time you're going to get to pick in a while. We've had a lot of guests on lately.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
All right. You want me to start from this side or this side?
Let's start from the right.
Is this the right to you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's good.
Right there. Chip Hale. Why is that familiar to me? Was he a manager?
I think so. Mets third base coach at one point.
Oh, yeah?
He was a Mets coach. Yeah.
Sounded familiar.
Chip Hale. Let me look him up here. This is just his coaching. He's actually currently the head coach of the University of Arizona baseball team.
The back of his card is a little blurb. It seems like he was one of the first utility players because it says Chip is the Twins' man for all positions, playing outfield and infield in his career and shining as a pinch hitter. I'd love to know. This looks like it might be his rookie card. 96. It can't be his rookie card at 96, though. Oh, no, Portland. He just went back and forth between the Miners and the Twins for a couple of years.
He actually managed the Nationals in the World Series for one game because Dave Martinez was ejected a couple times and had the heart issue.
Right, there you go, Chip.
I'll look up his baseball reference page here. Yeah, he's the head coach of Arizona baseball.
Is he a bald fella?
He is a bald fella, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm familiar with him. The name.
He was in the league for 7 years, but didn't play much in those 7 years. 159 career hits.
I already forgot his name, Sean, that I'm familiar with. Chip Hill?
Chip Hale, yeah.
I'm a little dumb, Sean. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I've seen his face. I've definitely seen his face. I'm ready to answer any questions.
How many home runs did he hit in his career?
How many seasons? He said 7, but he was like a
7, but he never played more than 85 games.
33.
7.
No, Chip.
Home run for every year of his career.
That's a tough one. No, that's a tough one. Any other interesting stats you see there?
Let me see here.
Trying to find an interesting picture for you guys of Mr. Chippery.
Only had 1 triple in his career.
Okay. First name is Walter. Full name is Walter William Hale. Everyone was wondering.
Interesting. Yeah, it was definitely a late hitting utility man.
Gives a lot of hope for guys out there in the league that aren't that great,
Absolutely.
that they could still become a manager. I'm looking at it says people also search for the related people. I'm going to give you a name right now, Sean. We're going to end on just this name. We might even talk about it next week. You remember Willie Bloomquist? I don't know.
Yeah.
Willie Bloomquist.
Yeah.
What a name.
That's the game.
Willie Bloomquist. Oh, yeah. Good for him. No. I thought they were going to tell me Willie only played two years. No. Last year was in 2015. Willie Bloomquist. Good for him. We'll talk about Willie never hit more than 4 homers in a season. I liked Willie, though. I was a big Willie Bloomquist guy. Anyway. Thank you. I'm sorry. Honestly, not even thank you. What I want to say is I'm sorry for watching the pod today, guys. I appreciate you sticking all the way through. If this wasn't enough, there'll be a blooper reel also attached. There'll be a full episode, and then there'll be the bloopers taken out. Or how do you want me to do it, Sean? Want me to do just a blooper reel, and then the edited version, or the edited and unedited version?
I think the blooper reel will be funny, but I don't know if it's too much work.
I'll try and just cut out the midsection of us having an issue, and I'll just put it up there, and then the rest of it will be this episode. I wonder how long. Yeah, last picks to click for today. How long is this episode going to be without the middle part?
Well, it's 11:12 now. We got on a little before. I started recording around 9:40 because we talked a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it was probably an hour and 10 minutes. Hour and 5 minutes.
Saying 9:30.
Not that much longer than normal.
Yeah, I would say like an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah. That's not even a picks to click because I think we're both too close there. But God bless everyone for joining. We'll see you next week.